Welcome back to Alex B Teaching, where we make learning English easy and fun. So today we're going to deep dive into the trickiest parts of English grammar, prepositions. So these small words like in, on, at, by, with, for can cause a lot of confusion. But don't worry, by the end of the lesson, you'll understand how to use prepositions correctly and avoid common mistakes. So let's get started. What are prepositions? So prepositions are words that show the relationship between a noun or pronoun and other words in a sentence. They can indicate time, place, direction, manner, cause, and more. Let's go through the main types step by step. So the first types of prepositions are prepositions of place. So where something is. These describe the position of something. So in is used when something is inside a space, so inside something. The keys are in my bag. On is used when something is on a surface, so the book is on the table. At is used for specific points, so I'm at the door. So it just means I'm near to it somewhere at a specific point. If you say I'm at the door, you're just saying if someone's coming to your house, you would just say I'm at the door, which just means you're outside waiting at the door, or you could be at the door inside. It just means a specific point. Where are you? I'm at the supermarket. You could also say I'm in the supermarket just by stating that you're not near it, you're actually inside it. So that's a difference. If you said I'm on the supermarket, that would mean you were physically on top of it, which wouldn't make sense. So a common mistake is people saying I'm in the bus. So instead of saying I'm in the bus, which you physically are, I'm inside the bus, you physically are in it, but we don't say I'm in the bus, we say I'm on the bus. And we use on for public transport. So we use on for I'm on the train, I'm on the bus, I'm on the plane, I'm on the tram, I'm on the tube, which is the difference between if you don't say I'm on the car, I'm in the car, or I'm in the taxi. So taxi doesn't fit in the same criteria as public transport. It's private transport for hire, I suppose. You could say I'm in the Uber as well. So if you're talking about Uber, I'm in the Uber, I'm inside it. But you wouldn't say I'm on the Uber. It's not public transport as such, although it is something that you can hire, I suppose, privately. Let's look now at prepositions of time. So prepositions of time just talks about when something happens. And we usually use with preposition of time in, and it's used for longer periods. So when we're talking about months, years, centuries. I was born in July. I saw him in 1998. He was born in the 14th century. So we usually use that with long time periods. Not I saw him in Monday. We wouldn't say that. That doesn't make sense. You can also say to see someone in the week. So I saw him in the week, not specifying which day, but sometime in that time period. We use on for specific dates and times. So if you use on, you would say our meeting is on Monday, our meeting is on Friday, I'm meeting my friend on the weekend or on Saturday. So it's more specific, it's a shorter time and more specific. It's not so specific that we're actually identifying the exact hour. We wouldn't say our meeting is on Monday, our meeting is at 11 a.m. So we would say our meeting is on Monday at 11 a.m. So that's used for specific times at. So the train arrives at 5 p.m. The meeting is at 11 a.m. I'm meeting my friend at the cinema at 8 p.m. on the weekend or on Saturday. Okay? And I'm meeting my friend in the week. So if I wanted to give a longer time period, I could use in. Shorter time period is on, and a very specific time period with a time would be at. A common mistake is saying I was born on July instead of saying I was born in July. You could say I was born on July the 12th, but the 12th is the date we're referring to. So yeah, that would be an exception. But that's a specific time, 12th. So the next preposition we're going to look at is prepositions of direction or movement. So how something moves. And this is one which is very common in English and very important to learn. And a lot of people make mistakes with this. So to is one of the most common prepositions of movement, and it just shows movement towards a destination from one thing to another. I'm going to the shop. I'm going to school. And really, if you use the verb go, then you need to use to when you're talking about movement from one place to another. I'm going to work. Anything with go, you know that it's going to be to because you have a movement. It shows that movement towards a destination from one place to another. Into is more specific. Into would exactly indicate movement from outside to inside. So she walked into the room before she was outside the room. Now she's come inside the room. He walked into the house or the building or the school. Literally, you're talking about the actual moment that he goes from outside into inside. Into and onto is onto a surface, so it indicates something, movement towards a surface. He jumped onto the bed. He stepped onto the train. Physically, he went off the train to on the train. And a very common mistake in English, as I said before, because to is the preposition, the main preposition showing movement towards a destination. The biggest mistake people make is they say I'm going in school instead of I'm going to school. Another mistake, which is an exception in English, which could be confusing, is with home, with house, we can use preposition of movement to, but if we say home, we don't use a preposition, so we just say I'm going home. So there's no preposition needed with the noun home, but if you said house or to my house or to school, then it's always to and not in, which is a very common mistake learners of English make when they're talking about movement towards a destination. Just think and remember that if you have the verb go and you're talking about that movement, then you're going to have to. To is going to be there. Okay, so that's a good way to remember that a lot of prepositions work specifically with certain verbs, and go is always to. So the next prepositions we're going to look at are prepositions of manner. So how something happens. So what way is it happening? By is one of them, and it just shows the means of doing something. So she travelled by car, she travelled by bus, she travelled by plane. And we also have with. So with shows the tool or instrument used. He wrote the letter with a pen. He drank the coffee with a cup. I mean, that's obvious. We wouldn't really say that, but he wrote the letter with a pen. He didn't he didn't email it. Often a common mistake is people will say she travelled with car. Just translating from other languages, it might make more sense, but it's travelled by car. So by just shows the means of doing something. The next lot of prepositions we're going to look at are prepositions of cause, reason, and purpose. So it shows the reason or the reason something happens. So because of shows the reason. The game was cancelled because of the rain. Something happens because of some other consequence. And the other one, preposition of cause, reason, and purpose, would be due to. So due to is very similar to because of. Because of is just a bit more common. Due to would be used in more formal context. So the delay was due to technical issues. We'd say that more as a formal expression rather than because of. Common mistake is because the rain, the game was cancelled. We wouldn't say that. We would say because of the rain, the game was cancelled. So you need to put that of in. It's because of and due to. They stay together. Then prepositions of possession. So we have prepositions which show us something belongs to something else. So of shows belonging. The pages of the book are torn. The pages belong to the book. The car of his brother. To shows relationship, so she is married to John. With shows a characteristic. The man with the hat is my uncle. So the person there specifying what we can see physically about him. Or it doesn't have to be a physical aspect. It could be the man with the money. A common mistake when you're showing prepositions of possession is saying she is married with John instead of she is marrying to John. That's also a common language transfer. So when one language is being translated, they might use with when you're saying two people are connected together. And then there's some tricky prepositional phrases. And these are just prepositions which go with, they often appear in fixed phrases. So here are some important ones that you should probably know. We say afraid of. So she is afraid of spiders. Then there's good at, so he is good at maths. He is good at art. She is very good at talking to people. Then you have interested in. I'm interested in something. So I'm interested in learning Spanish, or I'm interested in cars, or I'm interested in football. And then depend on. So depend on. Something will have an effect that is affecting something else. So it depends on the weather. Shall we go out? It depends on the weather, if it's raining or if it's sunny, etc. A common mistake is saying I'm interested to learning instead of I'm interested in learning. So that's another translation from another language where it doesn't make sense in English. We don't say I'm interested to learning. I'm interested in something. So I have an interest in that thing. So imagine it's like inside the thing that you're interested in, if that makes more sense. Let's practice. Can you fill in the blanks for me? And I want you to write your answers in the comments below, and I'll check and reply as many as I can. So I'll meet you blank the airport. So is it at, in, or on? Which one do you think would go best? That's number one. Number two is she is very good blank singing. So is it at, in, or of? Okay, and number three is the cat jumped blank the sofa. Is it onto, into, or to? Good. And number four is the meeting is blank Monday morning. So is it at, on, or in? Give me your answers. I will show the answers at the end of this video, but try and see if you can put them in before the end, okay? Now you know the different types of prepositions, how to use them, and common mistakes to avoid. Keep practicing, and soon using prepositions will feel more natural. It's just about learning them in context, so things that go together. So things like using on public transport and in when it's private transport. More or less, you know that that's true. Once you learn that, it can help you. So if you found this lesson helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more English tips, and I'll see you in the next lesson.